What are the blinds at right now? 200, 400?
Yeah, I think 2-4.
Okay.
Yeah.
Definitely plenty of play left.
A featured table.
Yeah, definitely. They both definitely deserve to win this. It's just they're both super active members of the community.
Definitely. Yeah, I mean, of the two members that I've met, and I've met quite a few. I think these two are definitely some of the super fans.
Well, what did you show the very first time? Can't play that.
Yeah. What did she shove the very first hand?
Who shove?
Anti-Moon. Very first hand, I checked small blind and she just jammed in everything on the first hand.
I think I might have actually missed that. I think we were having some technical difficulties here.
Yeah, she won't tell anyone.
I'm guessing this is going to be on replay or something.
Yeah. Look at that. Ruth down in the chat as always.
Yeah, as ever.
As always. Happy birthday Ruth Ann, for yesterday.
You're back at Attribution. Does Anti-Moon mean anything?
Shout out to the members of the OP poker community as well. Thank you for joining us here on today's stream. Showing force.
It's a chemical element and it means acid.
Oh wow, I didn't know that.
That's where it comes
Right.
In English,
I thought you just hated the moon.
in English it's antimony.
Oh. American Airlines, the air raid siren goes off.
Okay.
American Airlines for Anti-Moon. I mean, in a heads-up match, it's really difficult to be getting away from hands like Queen 10. What was her size here? What was the size she makes it? 1.9. That's a really big size. Blinds are still 200, 400 if I'm not mistaken. She gets the action though. She gets the action. That's what you want. Oh, what an interesting flop. So not only does the Queen 10 pick up the draw, but of course, do you know how to pronounce that incorrectly? Geno?
Geno, yeah.
Geno. So what Geno doesn't know is that, in fact, two of the cards that he requires to make that straight are in his opponent's hand, in Anti-Moon's hand here. He bets 2.8k. So does he lead here? He led the flop?
No, he checked.
Oh, he checked. Okay, I see. And a call. I mean, I would be so tempted to put in a raise here with Queen 10. It's so hard not to try and use your stack as a weapon.
I think if she'd bet smaller, he would have definitely jammed it there.
I think you might be right. I think you might be right.
Check.
And a check from the Queen 10. 2 checks. 7 of diamonds changes nothing.
He's going to jam here. This is his move, I think. And I think she's going to think about it as well.
That's, yeah.
I have no idea what he has. I have no idea what we have.
Spraggy announces he has no idea what they have.
Yeah.
What's the sizing going to be? The pot is approximately 9.4. It's reaching for chips. I think he knows that he wants to put a bet in here.
How much is the pot? 54 in the flop. 2k, so 9,800-ish.
I think General just asked Vincent exactly how much was in the pot. It looks like he aced it. So now he's trying to figure out how big to go here. Trying to figure out what kind of a hand she's going to bet and then check turn with. It's pretty unconventional to be checking the aces on the turn, but it does put hands like Queen 10 in such an interesting situation now. He has to make a bet, I think. Okay, he makes the bet. What's the size? Yeah, absolutely. It's very interesting hand. Very interesting hand.
Yeah, I'm interested in how that played out. I played a bit with Jen over the last few days. I seem to get on his table in all these tournaments. So.
I'd be interested to see what happens if you guys turn. Because presumably it would be that turn, and then you have to try and bluff catch river, or maybe not necessarily even bluff catch, but just pot control. But as played, it's I don't think you can. It's such a nice spot to just be firing back with Queen 10 there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would have lost all our chips, so congrats to you.
This is actually probably one of the better events for me to be commentating on. We play a lot of heads up at OP Poker, so much better than the nine-handed deal. That's a pretty good sized pot.
Yeah.
He's all in. All in a fold. How much was the jam for? 4K, something like that. So yeah, so it must have been 4 and a bit because you got 11 bigs now. Yeah.
I got a split third or split fourth. Is that the same amount of points? That's fine. You're guaranteed. I mean, yeah. But I guess
That sounds like you're acting like it's already over, my friend. We got upset.
I guess the prices weren't directly correlated to.
Looks like we've got some conspiracy theorists in the chat today regarding Spraggy's patch. Or lack thereof. Fear not, guys. Fear not. There's nothing to read into here. There's nothing to read into.
That should get some good action when you start playing.
Right.
Most likely he's left at the blackjack tables.
That is slander. That is slander. I apologize. I apologize on behalf of Ben. That is slanderous.
I'm about to get kicked out.
Welcome to the game, team. That's what you're up against.
That was the last time.
That's what you're up against.
It was the last time we saw him in the commentary booth. Just kidding. All right, so there you go, you guys. You can see the chip distribution there.
What do you got?
Oh, not quite.
After starting stack, done it before.
I take that back. That was not the chip distribution.
We haven't done it together before. Like I'm sure at some point we'll come back to the short stack, right? Yeah, we got this.
There we go. You can see it there, bottom left now.
Positive 50.
Geno here with the shoving stack. Possibly 10 bigs.
Feel it. Feel it.
All in again.
I don't know what to call.
All in and a.
Feels like are you really calling you
I
there?
think that's probably the right fold. 4-3 diamonds is a great hand to flip with. It's going to perform really well against pretty much all hands.
If you want me to do 50,
Even against hands like aces, 4-3 suit is actually one of the stronger
I think that
combinations.
no chop, no deals, 2.5
But you definitely don't want to be calling it off 4 high too often, even for 10 bigs.
Yeah.
Obviously, all this thing, I'm not trying to actually pressure deal. I'm completely taking it. What's new? Like, of course. What was the right answer now, Lex? Was the right answer Spraggy?
No, of course not.
Oh, okay. I just thought you were going by ranking. Yeah, sorry, I thought we were doing by,
Spraggy's going to take a look really quick. For those of you that don't know, Spraggy, prior to moving into MTTs, played a lot of heads of cash. He's had a lot of experience playing heads up.
No pressure, right? Do it, say it! Good.
She flats button. I think I really like that flat.
Appreciate that.
Check from the blind here.
Flip.
The pair for Geno.
Yeah. I don't see Anthony putting anything else in at this point at all. If she passed over to Spraggy, he might make some sort of moves, but yeah, she's got such a big chip lead.
Yeah, I
There's
mean,
no-
there are so many other combinations of hands that you feel more confident playing here, and having a king and a 6 which just doesn't even touch the board. That doesn't touch the board. Doesn't even.
No.
You know, there's not
Having
all
said
that.
that, she does call.
Okay, interesting. So Geno led with the 10 on the turn.
Yes.
Yeah. Good poker face there. Anti-moon.
Nice.
Next and like that. It's an all-in bet, right? Like it's not 2K. You said you choose 2K. Okay.
So it went check, and she puts it all on the river.
Yeah.
I mean, wow.
Yeah.
Just want to just want to know what's going
I
on.
mean, also her table image is that of one who's pretty conservative.
Yeah. She clearly had a plan when she was calling on the turn.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I think that I'm not willing to make this call. Like it's not saying, I'm saying I'm not willing to decide what you do. I can't, I honestly, I would be filthy bad. It's
Yeah, Finton said before this it started that he wouldn't make any all-in decisions
Okay.
for his whoever he got paired up.
Yeah.
So you've already heard my statement, no further comment.
there was no similar promises from anyone else, as Felix proved.
I always think it's interesting watching people who watch streams make decisions because you can see them going through the thought process in a similar way when they watch their other people's streams. So
Yeah.
he watches a lot of Lex play and he sat there, he's working his way through the hands that would have missed, and I mean on this hand, this texture, there's some stuff that missed, but I'm not sure how much of that doesn't get bet on the flop. Interesting, really interesting spot. It looks like he might get there though. He looks like he's convinced himself. He's shaking his head like it doesn't make sense.
I don't think it's a misflush draw. I'll help you there. Because I don't think they would
He
have
doesn't
checked.
think it's a misflush draw. That's what he said.
They wouldn't have checked. I don't
They wouldn't
think
have checked flop. That's what he's saying, right?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
That was my thought process. He probably wouldn't have checked the 9 on the flop.
I think she would check.
Hands that we're going to win against, right, is that if has an underpair and got counterfeited on the river, then we're going to win, obviously. These are hands that could have possibly to check, like...
This is interesting. Finton giving some thought process, but not giving him an answer like he promised. So he's not telling him what to do, but he's definitely helping him to work it out, giving him a little bit more confidence.
Could be wrong.
I think these are all things that Geno's running through as well.
Absolutely, yeah. And I mean, having another person next to you confirming some of those. But I would really struggle with her table image though. I would really struggle.
Yeah.
It's also a situation where a hand like King 10 or Ace 10 feels really confident about putting in a huge value bet as well, right?
Yeah.
You're not worried about the 8 because there was no action. You're not worried about the Jack because they probably wouldn't check river.
I think he badly wants to call, but it is the table image. I think that's making him not.
She's on a nice edge. You can see it. He calls. Good call. Excellent call. Excellent call.
Good call.
Really good call.
I think it's a good bluff.
I think it's a great bluff.
Yeah.
I think it's.
Oh, it's a big
I think it'd be a terrible bluff for me to make,
Yeah.
but I think it's a great bluff for her to make because she's got to be aware of that table image, and she did have a plan as well. It wasn't a random float. She knew what she was going to do if he slowed down. And also, it's a situation where he probably has more misdraws as well, and he might even have more misdraws than she does.
Yeah. It's yeah. I really like how she played that in the end. Actually.
Confident too. Confident.
Yeah. Didn't even stop to think about it. Just go. Which is really good.
Thank you.
We have a new dealer coming in.
That was a good bluff. I like it. Yeah.
They're close.
You like to lead more.
No, I like it. I don't think, like you said, there's not many ace eyes free, so it's very hard to get called by worse hand.
Right.
Sometimes we've got to count. I honestly I wanted to call, but I didn't want to tell you to call. I was scared that I was wrong because it was close.
Yeah.
Super close.
Think she ever shows a better 10?
I don't know what's on it. Like, I don't know what's right either.
I don't know what I do.
Like, I don't know what's like. It's
That's it. We've got him up here. No idea. That's where the game's won and lost. But this card is.
Just had confirmation from people who are stream side saying that the table talk mic volume is pretty strong, so it's good.
sorry.
You guys should be getting a pretty good listen to what these guys are talking about.
Same.
This one is.
I mean, I completely understand by the way.
It's just started right now. Let's see.
to be over quick, right? Not
Exactly,
super deep.
exactly. With 10 big blinds deep. It's all good. Yeah. If it ends up going on for like an hour, then sure, but it's...
These guys are just discussing. So unfortunately, we had to push back the timing of this event to be shown here on Twitch.
He's actually got less chips.
Finton and Spraggy both are running into the point where they have to get back into the high roller event, which they started yesterday. So they're going on
Just
to
over
day
like
two.
a grand, so I'd probably win it too. So
Looks like they're gonna stick it out. They're gonna hold fast with their respective players. Good show. But if it does go on a little bit later, they're gonna consider jumping into that event. It's a 550 buy-in. There's definitely some good money on the line. And I think they went to day two with not a ton of chips as well. So there's a lot of pretty interesting decisions that they have to make at that stacked up.
Yeah, but it's very nice of them just to
Yeah,
kind
stick it out.
of stick it out for a while. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, the blinds are going to go up pretty quick here. The blinds are already up. Sorry, excuse me, guys. I don't know if you spotted that. 300, 600 now. So I think this will be done relatively quickly.
Check.
Okay. That fold, pretty standard spot, really. Pretty much always a bet there from the button on that sort of queen 4-5.
Yeah, that's right.
He has
Low paired board
like,
texture.
most of the time. If he limp free, he hasn't got a good hand because he's not capable of limping with a good hand.
I know what I'm going to do now. Just you wait.
I mean, don't worry. Three, right?
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
15 bigs.
15 bigs announces Finton.
Okie dokie. I've been barred from the action.
Ooh, she finds 10s here. Limping with 5-4. Really, really quick bet here, it looks like. Trying to figure out what size she wants to use.
Yeah.
You don't even have to
Where
count.
are we at?
It's a red flag when it's on a band Spraggy.
She shows the 10s.
Hand though. Can't even play his own magic hand.
Yeah, she makes it 3x from the big there. For those of you that are watching the stream that just joined, the way the rules are working are, so four members of the community won seats yesterday during a pub quiz style event, and they were paired with PokerStars pros who they could speak to during the hands. I mean, we were calling it a tag team event, but they were actually allowed to just share information and ask for advice. And it wasn't a strict tag team rule where it was you had to swap in and then make one player play just their own hand. So they could ask for advice, etc.
Really fun format.
A really, really cool format, yeah.
It was a really big surprise in the quiz as well. We'd heard that there was going to be prizes, but we had no idea what they were.
Yeah. I mean, how are those goodie bags as well?
The goodie bags looked good. Yeah,
Yeah.
I looked into someone else's, and they had like a shirt, a hat, like card protector, loads of
Merch,
stuff,
man,
just
merch.
swag.
That's Stars merch, man.
Yeah.
Got some good
But I
swag.
didn't play it the way you taught me. Should have went all in.
Who is it, Promoted Parker?
Yeah.
I wouldn't listen to it.
Would have worked.
Yeah. But
You made me miss like 15 minutes of the list anyway. You obviously don't care about missing time, but you made me miss 15 minutes yesterday.
I'll be alright. I want to see this out to a win first. Shouldn't be long. 5 minutes, I think. You're on the ropes. Little fake comeback.
You said that 15 minutes
Little
ago, I
fake
think.
double.
Spraggy does never stops the table talk and the ribbing each other, and it was
You're absolutely right.
good. Check.
Yeah?
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we go to a flop here. Checking the big. Again, pretty standard bet spot.
Limp stab, Benjamin Sprague taught you well.
Picking up all the tricks.
The limp stab, that was it.
Yeah, learn it from Lex.
I learned from Lex, he says. Oh no.
It's okay. It's alright, plenty more where that came from.
Still the 3-1 lead.
What?
Still the 3-1 lead.
It's telling me to put more pressure on you.
Kim?
Wait. 900.
Shouldn't have said anything.
Yeah.
Raise and a fold?
Yeah, raise and take it for anti-move.
Like the raise with Jack Five Hearts there.
That would
Absolutely not, mate. No, the momentum is with us. We're on the comeback trail. Do you know what? Everyone watching, everybody loves a comeback story.
Everybody loves to come back to it.
Get it in the bin. 5 views off. It's not for us.
We'll let the life play that one.
It is pretty funny that it ends up being Team Finton, Team Spraggy as well. These two obviously spend quite a lot of time with each other online
I think you all do.
over the years.
Didn't it?
On the tables and off.
You're the one who got the aces. That was a big turning point. Because we came in about even.
Right.
And then the aces hand was a big swing. And if we bet turn, or if you bet turn, we probably don't win. I would guess.
Well, that's
I probably would have bet turn, so. You just had to score with it.
Wait. 1800. 1.8.
Just fold. You showed your bet to fold. Fake out. It would have been a sick fake out if you had a good hand, but.
Raising the fold again.
We're too smart over here to fall for tricks like that. Gotta get up earlier in the day to catch us, mate.
Aggression frequencies here.
I'm a mere spectator. I'm the Lex at this point.
Easy pigeon. Rocking the pigeons.
He's repping. Pigeon Air Force.
Really interesting hand here. Oh, she wakes up the tens. This could be it. He's all in. I think that's probably the right play. And I think the tens are always calling every single time.
Alright, good luck.
Good luck, guys.
Oh my god, you slow rolled us!
Alright, that's it.
I think you're gonna shove 6-7 there. You should be shoving 6-7 there a lot. It's gonna. It's just you're gonna do so much better than raise folding or something like that.
Alright, we'll have your 10, thank you very much. 10.
So once again, the up and down straight draw with the blockers in your hand.
No, I don't want on the turn.
3 of diamonds. And that's it.
It's all over.
That's it. We have a winner. Congratulations to Jenna and also Anthony.
Deserved
3K.
winner. Deserved winner.
3K and 2K respectively.
Not too bad for another question. Not bad at all, man.
We did okay.
Nice. Congratulations, man.
The sound effects here. Studio manager.
Alright, we're gonna back.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
See you later.
Good luck.
Thank you, mate.
Nice.
Bye, Trev.
Thank you.
Here we go. Congratulations, guys. So for those of you that just joined the stream, that was the conclusion of the pub quiz finale. First place there going to Anti Moon with the 3,000 and Geno getting 2K respectively. Really, really nice result for those guys. Oh, awesome. What did you think about that, Ben?
It was a really good experience,
Yeah.
and really good to see them play it as well. And anyone who won it would have deserved it. So I'm just I'm glad it went to someone. Basically, I'm glad it happened.
So what you're saying is, let's say theoretically speaking, there was a future LEX Live. Fingers crossed, because what an awesome event, right?
Yeah.
What you're saying is everyone needs to study up on their Lex Valdez trivia.
Yeah. I mean, there was a lot of questions though, so it's going to be super obscure questions if we have to find them again.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so the way I understand it, there was a couple members that I was talking to yesterday evening who were saying that they actually studied for the quiz ahead of. Yeah, there you go.
So, I didn't know those big prizes, but I mean, still want to win the quiz.
Fantastic. That was so good to see. Yeah, I mean, what an interesting format. I'm wondering if there would be some way to expand that even further. I mean, could there be a much larger tag team event with in the future?
Maybe.
I'm not sure how logistically that works.
No. But it's something to look into. I think it's great. So it's something to look into for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay, so some of the ideas that we had about the flip out, guys. For those of you watching the stream now, I'm going to try and talk directly to the camera. So the flip out event that we were talking about yesterday, we had some really crazy ideas about how to maybe improve that. We were talking about adding a bounty to that event. We were talking about there was some talk about reducing the actual flip size, because the 5 big blinds was really heavy towards the end, right? But also that's kind of what kind of made it fun. Yeah. There was one really obscure rule. So in the situation where there was a pre-flop all-in, let's say everyone put in their 20K or whatever the 5 big blind flip was, and then one opponent only had 5K behind. If they won the flip, they won all the chips regardless of the fact that they didn't have everyone covered, which is probably not the right way to do it, but it made it so fun.
Yeah.
And so you could do the astounding comeback even when you had no chips, right? It was almost better for you to wait for the flip.
Yeah, it was, and I know at the end there was some discussions with the floor about what should happen.
Yeah.
Obviously, if you're thinking logically, that's probably not how it should work.
Yeah,
but
right.
we all know it was a fun tournament,
right,
and I
exactly.
think that's probably best.
Yeah.
Because then you can have just one chip.
That's right. Like literally chip. Well, you could go from having less than 1 big blind to having be chip leader. You know, it was that big, right?
Yeah, but I think maybe reducing the size,
right.
like maybe 2 or 3 big blinds.
Right.
Maybe slightly longer levels, and the bounties always make it better.
Well, but it was cool because in those situations where people were being forced all in, you could win a sizable chunk of bounties and then still exit the tournament before the final table, and you still feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
It adds more dynamic kind of thing.
Definitely.
Hey,
Main man, welcome.
Oh my god.
Here he
Look
is.
at the setup.
Here he is.
That's insane.
Lex of the branded LEX Live has just stepped in the studio.
Yeah, this is pretty crazy. Look at this cozy little booth. That was some good action. It's so funny how aggressive it was too.
Yeah.
I blame Flicks.
Yeah. Wow,
Can't
this
see
is
them.
cool.
You can see your river.
Yeah.
It's finished?
Yeah.
You want
so yeah, if you guys don't mind, I'd like to just talk to my to the peoples a little bit, and then I'll kick off the main event. And I'm sure we'll.
You come back to speak the main event after?
Yeah. No,
okay.
I sit down now and I do the main event.
Okay.
Yeah?
Okay. You want we cut now and we restart, or you want
No, we can just keep it rolling.
Just run straight through.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think he do he switch.
Do you want to go solo on this one?
Sure.
All right, guys. See you later. Thank you for having us.
Thanks.
Gonna let Lex step in now. Yeah.
Ils vont switcher la table. Mais
Is it mute?
Sorry.
Bonjour à tous. Hello everybody. I'm with Lex Veldus. Hello Lex Veldus.
How are you guys doing?
I'm sorry, but in this streaming, I speak a little English, but you speak English for the viewer.
Yeah, we'll be fine.
The English viewer, and I speak French for the French viewer.
Okay.
Welcome on this streaming. It's a beautiful sit and go.
Yeah, it was really fun. So yesterday we had a really nice pub quiz, and a lot of people showed up. You know, we got to meet a lot of really nice people from the community, and we met in the morning and just did a pub quiz for like 3.5 hours. And people, you know, they were asked a lot of things from my channel, from the chats, about other community members, everything, and so much fun. So the top 4 were actually qualified, as you guys saw, of course, but it's really cool because we got to reward and give back to some of the longtime community members, and I think it's really cool too, you know, seeing Antiman win, Cheno in there, I mean Milko also. It's just yeah, it's just really good. Ben Martin's also just such a sweet guy, and it was really good to get to know him better, and I think it's a good thing to go forward in the community, you know. It's all about community.
Yes. Now we making the commentary. I'm sorry for my English. To the final day, to the main event of your festival, and you stay with me to the finish.
There's more people coming in actually, so it's gonna be really cool because we have
turn.
Yeah,
making a turn.
Because I want, you know, more people to talk to the audience and to get to know it. So we have Vincent and Spraggy. They're still in the high roller. So they actually were sitting out in the high roller to play the sit and go. So very cool, very cool. And they're gonna be jumping in the booth. There's also gonna be, you know, some OP poker guys, and I'm sure that Felix is gonna jump in, maybe Eva from OP poker. So it should be good. Yeah, and also guys, I wanna, you know, I'm sure you saw some chat comments, but if you like Nick from OP Poker, give him a check out in his channel as well. There's a command in the channel, and yeah.
Ok. Alors, je ne m'aventurerai pas à vous traduire tout ce qu'il vient de dire. Si vous n'avez pas compris ce que Lex Veldus vient de vous dire en anglais, eh bien, tant pis pour vous, car moi non plus, je n'ai pas tout compris. Nous sommes sur le jour final du main event du Lex Veldus Spring Festival. Le stack de départ était 50 000, mais la moyenne maintenant, c'est 1 437 000. Nous sommes au level 24, et c'est 25 000 de petites blindes et 50 000 de grandes blindes. Le premier va remporter, s'il n'y a pas de deal, 37 000 euros. Allez, c'est parti. We go, Lex?
Yeah, let's go.
Alors, you can see that is the table. That is the name of the player of the table. There are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 Belgium. 5 people Belgium. 1 French. 1 Italian. Il y a quoi? Le monsieur en 8 a sauté.
I see an all in here immediately from David, Ace King.
300, 400, 450.
Gabriel wanted to steal the blinds here with the Queen 7. I've seen people here really not be afraid of playing big pots pre-flop.
As-3 montré. Ah non, As-3 all-in Lex. With Ace King.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah, there you go. That's pretty painful. He needs an Ace King or a 10. And that's it.
Oh.
We've seen this many times here. People do not like to get out of the way pre-flop once they have money in the pot, and this is another example of that.
I know this player is a very nice player, but he is not lucky. Il avait un tout petit stack, c'est ça? D'accord.
C'est difficile quoi. Il faut faire des montagnes ici.
Yeah, just like that, we lose a player.
Mais c'est un bel problème quand même. Il y a pire dans la vie.
Demande au lieu de grossir, tu fais aussi, demande à l'Adrien.
Ah ouais.
Là, je peux la monter et ensuite je peux la laisser. En fait, j'ai réussi à la monter, mais je peux plus la descendre.
Mais passer. Je peux avoir.
Si vous sérieux.
Je peux avoir. Chef.
Ah, donc c'est possible.
Alors, je peux avoir quelques jetons blancs. Vous voulez cette chaise-là?
Oui.
Ok. Ici, monsieur. On va prendre la chaise parce que je suis basse. Donc c'est bien Nicolas. Donc maintenant vous êtes aussi. Oui, ça. Parfait.
There's a nice mountain of chips there. After beating the ace king there, I saw it earlier in day 1 too. I went all in. Somebody with king 10 suited, snap called for 25 big blinds. It's definitely a stylistic difference that you see in some markets, and then in others people value other hands a little bit. Comes back in live poker a lot. Really depends on what country you play. Nicolas here with a real hand.
Vous êtes deux joueurs.
He's just gonna call the raise. So both players with hearts here. Nicolas checks twice here. He has a really pretty strong hand. You might think that the pre-flop raiser could get there with the queen a little bit. Wants to take it easy. Of course, it's a scare card for him when the flop goes check check. And Gabriel is gonna try and represent that queen. Raise pre-flop, thinks, you know, I could have king queen, queen jack, ace queen. The nice thing for him is he can actually hit a 9 or a 5 to make a straight, so this will be a semi-bluff. He's gonna get the call. That is actually a good card for him to possibly bet again. Nicolas is gonna hate that card. Hands like king jack, ace jack get there, of course. Bluffs that, you know, hands with ace king. He could already have been beat on the queen. Let's see if Gabriel finds another bet here. There it is, 275,000. I really, really like this bet from Gabriel. If you play hands like 6-4, you have to be willing to go for it. Nice, and there we see Gabriel, hard fought chips, he's 2 million now. He's 40 big blinds, table chip leader, second next in chips. Very far off with 1.2. Very nice bluff by him. Really good understanding of what he can represent and how the board flowed along. So it's a reasonably short table. Now I see Nicholas with tens.
Raise.
Raise it up. Looks like Nicholas does have 1.4 million behind.
Fold. Monsieur qui voudrait plus, tu peux appeler le service. Merci. Là, on est un petit supplément, monsieur.
Takes it down. Very tense moment, of course. Main event definitely going down in field size. Everybody eyeing for the top prize. Will be finishing today.
Fold. Fold. Raise. 120 000. Fold.
Wow, Queen Jack is out of the way. That's a really good fold.
Fold.
Might not be the same for Gabriel there. Jack 10 suited, very strong. Nice hand to defend the big blind from. We've seen that he really likes the suited cards after he called the Queen 7, and he will take a flop here.
Fold. Check.
Both players are not going to be too happy about that flop, but Pitt does still hold with his nines. Jack 10 has absolutely nothing going for him. No backdoor flush draw even. The only thing he can do is hit a backdoor straight.
80 000.
Great bet from the nines. Keeps it nice and small. Can still get called by 7 or 6. Some king high hands. There's going to be straight draws, of course. He's up against the big blind, so I really like that he goes for a small bet there. he does call. Small price, so he figured, you know what, maybe I could take it away on the future street, and he might get the chance to do so. Does go check, check. There's 4 hearts on the board. If there's ever a time to bluff, then Gabriel might really consider doing this now.
Open 220 000.
And he bets 220,000, and I think this might work. Pitt doesn't have a heart in his hand, and it's a very unappetizing looking board for him. He calls. Wow, that's an incredible call. That is a really good call. Had a really good idea of what was going on here. Did not think it too likely that there was a heart out there. Wow. That was really good, and with that, Pitt goes to 1.5 million. Some really good decisions by him. Gabriel drops back down to the stack that he was at before he won with the Queen 7. So Pitt picks up a lot of chips there. I really like the small bet on the flop, picking off the bluff on the river. Really here to play, so that's gonna be in for some good action, I think. So we see a few people hovering around the 1.5 million stack, and that's definitely a precarious position to be in, because you can definitely just have to be in a situation when the money needs to go in. If the button opens, you're in the small blind with a pair, a good ace, money's gonna go in, and obviously you want to avoid those spots where you can, but if you avoid them too much, then you're just gonna slowly blind down. Patrick here with the King Queen. 20 big blind stack. Gabriel again with the Jack 10.
Raise. 115 000.
Patrick here. On the button, he's not going to get too much credit for a hand. Of course, the weakest position people are going to be raising from. Excellent position to steal. Only the blinds left behind you. Gabriel's hand's going to do pretty well against a lot of these situations that open from the bubble, from the button. Check. He does flop a gut shot this time, so this is not too desirable board for King Queen, but it's still pretty tempting because it's you have 2 overcards. It's a pretty dry board.
Open 125 000.
Yeah, he does get the call. If you're gonna call with Jack 10, there's the 8. He turns the nut straight. There is a flush out there. This is not a very desirable card for Patrick.
Open. 315 000.
Yeah, oh wow, he does go for it. He doesn't have a heart, but
All in.
yeah, really isn't convinced that Gabriel has anything, but thought he could put some pressure, maybe on an ace-high hand, on a 9 or a 7. Just trying to save face a little bit, maybe for when he wants to bluff in the future. It does folds. So Gabriel involved in a few pots in a row here.
Augmentation des blindes.
So we're here in Namur, really nice city. Been walking around a little bit outside. Very beautiful. Rivers, bridges, exactly what you expect to see from a European city. Outside markets. Been mostly drinking inside the casino and in the bar. It's actually perfect. There's like this really big lounge area right next to the poker area. So everybody's just hanging out there, all the community members. And just having fun, getting to know each other, sometimes jumping into a tournament. It's a really nice city to go out as well. Everybody played this event as well. Lots of action here too. We had the Friday flip, really cool from the casino that they facilitated that. It was the first time we ran a tournament after every blind level. The whole table did a 5 big blind flip. It was a lot of mayhem, people screaming for cards, people laughing.
Oui, je soif, c'est les émotions, voilà. On est au TV, des trucs comme ça. Je suis comme si je partais sans.
60 000 poursuivre. Folle. Folle.
On a regardé trop de YouTube.
Folle.
Nicolas, nice to see him play this event. Very well known here.
All in.
There we go. Patrick is gonna go all in here with King 6, 9 big blinds.
550 000.
So losing that pot, he wants to get some chips back. Gabriel with the 3s here. He's over 2 million. He might really consider this. He has a pair. His opponent less than 10 big blinds. He's seeing. I think he's trying to see how many chips the people behind him are playing. Else, not gonna get involved. I think with the jacket offsuit. So Gabriel's still in the tank. It's a very appetizing spot, but of course you know that you're also not going to be ahead all of the time with pocket threes. He does get rid of it. That's a huge win for Patrick to get a hand like that out of the way. It's a very important moment for him. To avoid a flip at this stage is very nice. Sometimes you have to take flips, but it's always nicer if you just get the folds and win the blinds, and he does do so, so good pot for him. Yeah, so Gabriel getting out of the way there. Still in the top of the chips, of course. 2.2 million, very nice stack for him. Spring Festival, 100,000 guaranteed. Very proud to say we smashed that. Over 1,000 players played the main event.
En fait, quand tu sors du casino, tu vas vers la droite. Il y a un problème avec les cartes. Il y a des cartes plus foncées que d'autres. Pas d'un autre chaudrement, j'ai pas là. C'est un peu important. Si vous voulez, mais tu prends ton temps, vu que tu prends la droite, je pense que j'ai fait très mauvais. Ouais, c'est mauvais avec. Ouais, si tu veux, ou alors on y va dans 30 minutes. 30 minutes, c'est plus simple. Ouais, ça marche, merci.
C'était quoi la carte?
Il faut l'avoir eu, la carte.
Si c'est demi-paquet comme ça, demi-paquet comme ça, ça va aller.
Ouais, mais on peut faire des répartitions. Si tu as des boards à 4 cœurs, 4 carreaux, des boards à monocolore, tu peux savoir quelle carte il a et quelle carte il a. C'est super différent.
Normalement, on doit changer les cartes.
Là, tu as deux clairs, lui il a une foncée nucléaire, une foncée nucléaire.
Deux nuances différentes.
Tu sais potentiellement.
Oui.
Les miennes sont les mêmes.
Oui. J'ai deux foncées.
À mon avis, c'est parce que tu dois les retourner. Non, c'est pas un effet de lumière, c'est vraiment flagrant.
C'est en fait deux nuances différentes.
C'est vraiment flagrant.
My friend, you are here in Belgium in he's in Belgium.
Ah, yeah. You make one packet from 17 packets.
No, that is the problem.
Ah, ok.
Voilà.
Ah, c'est la première fois que je vois ça ici. Hier, les
You're
cartes
happy now?
étaient toutes pareilles.
Là, tu sais, si tu fais ta tête, tu sais que tu as potentiellement peut-être un jeu fort.
They never use new language because it's too expensive.
On les a pas encore tout vu, hein, c'est pas.
Non, c'est clair.
First I fold the light one, and then I fold the darker one.
Oh, it's gonna spark some table chatter. People know they folded something unexpected. See, Elsa going all in here, very good hand to do so on the button with an ace. Doesn't really matter what ace it is. Right there in the big blind with a reasonable hand, King 10. You might be tempted to call here.
430 000. 430 000 est tapis.
Quand tu sors du casino, tu vas sur la droite, tu sais qu'il y a des voitures garées là sur la droite. Tu t'avances genre 200 mètres, tu bras selon le Clio.
Et showdown.
Elle est garée sur le trottoir.
All in paid.
Sur le trottoir. Et la voiture, elle est là, elle est sur le trottoir non.
There it is, he calls.
Le trottoir du casino.
Oh, that's a bad window card there for Elsa. Ace is also not going to do it. She needs a 10. She needs a 10 or she's out of the tournament. He's not going to do it. Pit makes a straight. Say goodbye to Elsa there. Good run for her, but just coming up short.
Ça de clou pour un souhait.
Quelle balance.
On passe.
Voilà. Merci monsieur. On n'a pas de débat ici.
So, see a lot of bust outs at the table. 6 people left here now.
colle ensemble. Ça c'est bien tous les deux mains, le gros paquet.
C'est super important seulement pour les as, quoi. Si tu sais quelle couleur est l'as, pour les flushs, etc.
Je sais pas s'il y a quelqu'un à la table qui fait attention à ça, mais voilà, c'est important.
Une heure ou deux et
Ouais, bien sûr. Et même, tu retiens déjà seulement retenir les as pour les bords de flush, etc. Tu regardes les cartes de l'adversaire, tu sais si potentiellement il peut avoir l'as de la flush ou pas.
Ouais, en théorie, ouais. Il faut insister, monsieur. C'est pas 30, c'est 60. Faut insister.
Je crois que c'était just move.
Ouais.
Every decision is so important at this stage. Of course, no limit hold'em, you can lose your chips at any moment, but when everybody's this shallow, it's really crazy. You have to know as well that at the other tables people are shallow too, so it's a big chance people are gonna be knocked out pretty quickly. New player at the table. Looks like Gabriel is about to raise ace-4.
140 000. Fold. Fold.
Not gonna get involved with ace deuce. Jean-Simon there with a 9-3 suited. Does have a big line invested, but we'll get out of the way. And Gabriel wins another pot, so he's very active. It's working for him so far. Here we see the payouts. The chip count of the 37,000 euros for first. Very happy to report. Hope you guys enjoyed the pub quiz as well. Always going to be trying doing stuff like this from the live events. 99.9% sure we're going to have another one with the success of this one. Everybody's still hanging around. Some people even leaving tomorrow instead of today. Still a Super Sunday event as well today, so if you're close by you might want to check that out. 65 euro buy-in. Always gets pretty crazy. Nicholas here. Let's it go. Check on offsuit. Oh, we have a real hand in the big blind. Let's see if Jean-Simon is going to be tempted to do something. Yeah. Oh, Nicholas is going to be pretty gutted. Hoping for some action there when you're that short and you're in the big blind with a hand as strong as ace-jack suited.
Avec une bouteille d'eau.
Et sur mon soir.
Ah, ok.
Faut que t'en passes.
Non, non, c'est... Ouais, c'est vous le grosse plan,
Donc chez toi? Oui, c'est déjà juste.
Here we see the players at the table. So, Mikael Garcia just joined us. Player from France, seat 7 now. He replaced Elsa. back to the blind battle. Nicolas 10-9. It's up against the 10 big blind stack. If you count the big blinds. Yeah, really good all in. I really like this pressure. Need to win some blinds.
Quelqu'un qui a 2 euros, vous payez l'eau.
Quoi
2 euros. Si l'eau arrive, j'ai pas d'argent.
Donne-moi 500 000. On te l'achète 100 000
Pour 2 euros, je donne ça.
Si vous payez la bonne.
2 euros. Lui, bien fou.
Si l'eau arrive, j'ai un problème. Ah, merci.
Manger 1 euro.
Ouais, c'est fait.
Tu veux aussi de l'argent pour manger un panini?
Hein?
Tu veux de l'argent pour acheter un panini?
Non, non, pour l'eau. Si l'eau arrive,
Et on a,
ça c'est un rond.
Prends-en deux
Si
directement.
l'eau arrive.
aux toilettes, il y a de l'eau.
Hein?
Au robinet, il y a de l'eau.
Ah oui, je sais, mais voilà, je dois aller pour le chercher. Ah, maintenant je suis.
So there's about 30 players left.
Fold. 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 Fold.
5s here for Patrick. He's in the small blind. It's an excellent spot. It doesn't get much better for him than this. You're already so happy that nobody opens so that you get to open shove and less chance of getting called, and he goes for it. King high though. For Gabriel, he might be tempted. We've seen him calling all in with queen high before. Now it's the weakest position to go all in against him, the small blind. Yeah. Can't blame him for getting an exact count here. King high pretty strong in this situation.
504.
Big blind. So much.
Just a little too much.
Pocket 3? No pocket 3? No pocket 3?
I have a king. With no kicker. Oops.
King with no kicker.
Making big folds against you. Big folds.
Yeah. It is something that plays part there. I mean, he's saying you're making big folds against me. Something people remember, you know, they might take advantage. If you make a tight fold, it's usually not very good to tell people about it.
It's almost 15 more.
Yeah.
So enough
Now
for
it's
the
more
next,
expensive.
not enough for the next hand.
I have to put them in first. For me it's easy. I have cards, I call you. I don't call you. For you it's hard, you have to put them in.
Fold. Fold. Fold.
Excuse me.
Yeah, important to know how much the big blind is playing. You want to know if he's going to defend a lot or if he's going to play tighter because the money jumps are coming up. Decides to release the king 9. Gabriel now in the small blind with a small pair. 280,000 in the big blind, so very short stack.
All in.
Queen 3. Yeah, the 3 is a very bad kicker, of course, but only a few big blinds. He's gonna make the folds. Wait for another spot. Gabriel, 2.5 million now. Blinds are 30k, 60k. 60,000 ante, button ante of course. Very nice way to speed up live poker. We do that every single tournament here this week. No more ante please, ante please.
Petit bouteille d'eau, s'il vous plaît. Petit bouteille d'eau. Place.
7-2.
Patrick now again with a pair. These pairs are really nice for him. He really needs these all-in spots. Incredibly important on the short stack. Take down 150,000 in the middle. He wins almost 25% of his stack. And that's if everybody folds. Every time you go all in and you win the pot, you win a free round pretty much. That's a lot. That's very important for short stacks. Yeah, takes it down. So Patrick doing a very nice job at surviving. He's at 13 big blinds now, as you see. Gabriel's still well ahead with 40 big blinds. He's been at the 40 big blind mark the whole time. Doing excellently. As you see here, we're nice in the back here. Doing commentary. Really like the venue. Like I said, the layout's very ideal for a community event. We have a very large bar. Lots of seats around it, so it's been really incredible. We're on the final day here. Beautiful tournament series so far. Feels a little bit weird saying that, but you know what? It's true. Lots of people are showing up. People in Belgium have always been very passionate about poker. I've played my first poker tournament here in Namur, I think 13 years ago. I played the Belgian Open. It's just hundreds of people already, even back then. Most of them local. Very big group of regulars. Everybody just travels the tour, plays all the tournaments around. People driving in from Luxembourg. It's only 1.5 hour drive. So it's a very good central point, which is also one of the reasons why we decided to have LEX live here. People can plane, train, automobile, train station, 10-minute walk from the casino. Pitt is nicely in second place. He seems the only one who's been able to make a stand against Gabriel. Very impressed still with how he played that hand. It's always very interesting to see, like I said, a stylistic difference in short stack situations, but also it really shows what the game plan is of people and how afraid they are of the money jumps, or you know how much it means to them and how much they take it into account. Ideally, you should really be taking money jumps into account, but there's also a lot of people that just, you know, play for titles, want to win, don't want to bother with blinding down because of a pay jump or because of a cash. But he has our different reasons for playing, of course. Ace queen, and this is really doesn't get better than this scenario. Nicolas behind him has sixes. He's on the button. He's 20 big blinds himself. This is an excellent situation for him too. He knows that Michael is going to be very desperate. You know, there's definitely going to be all-ins in front of you with ace deuce, ace 3, ace 4, all kinds. Wow, he lets it go. He lets it go. Very small all in there, but doesn't want to do it. Doesn't want to risk any chips at this moment. So that's what I mentioned earlier. We really see what people's strategies are. How they feel about their position in the tournament and their stack size related to it. Excellent spot there for Michael. He does not know what kind of bullet he dodged there. But let's be real, he probably wanted a call at this point. Still only has 6 big blinds. Jean-Simon now down to 7 big blinds. Blinds are really catching up. I feel like there might be an opportunity for someone, if Gabrielle is out of the pot, to start blasting a little bit. People making some really tight folds. It's very important for the players at the table to notice this as well. When this many raises and shoves are getting through, that does say something about a table. Of course, it's a little bit scary if you use a small sample size like that to adjust your strategy deep in a big tournament. That's why it's good to find out what people exactly are folding, and that's why exactly also you shouldn't be telling them. See a big stack with the pair. Petra gets out of the way. Gabrielle. Raises 140. Oh, 340. Yeah, I think it's 140 as it is. Yeah, there it is. But Pitt has a better hand here. Pitt with 9s again against Gabrielle. He's gonna call. Really nice for Gabrielle. I understand from Pitt's perspective as well. There's the 2 biggest stacks at the table clashing right now. Oh, Gabriel pulling out ahead here. Continuing a good run. It's a pretty good board for 9s as well. Of course, there's some 10s that your opponent's gonna raise, but you know, all the strong Broadway combinations miss. It's a little bit too much to ask for flopping over pairs with 9, so this is definitely good. You also have some runner straight draws in case somebody has a higher pair.
Ouverture. 225.
That's a pretty big bet. Coming out swinging. It's actually the perfect size against a hand like 9s here. Lots of turns that 9s are gonna fold, so it's nice to get some money in. Nope. Can't blame him for calling here. Flat call with 9s. Get a pretty good board. With some backdoor straight draws, your pair could be good. It's an absolute brick. Unlikely one of these guys would raise with 6-7 from early position there. Or call on the button. See if he continues his trend of making big bets. He bet about half pot on the flop here. You should feel really comfortable. If there's anybody that could have 6-7 here, it's gonna be Gabriel.
Ouverture. 425. Passe.
And he just folds, so good fold there. Disciplined fold by the 9s. Didn't expect Gabriel there to double barrel that much. Thought he was doing it for value. It also keeps you out of some nasty spots, so I think Pitt's playing really well. Made a really good call with 9s earlier, now he makes a good fold. Meantime though, Gabriel is just stacking on chips. As you can see, 50,000 starting to stack.
I didn't mean. I was just picking up my chips.
It's less than a big blind now. It's always crazy when you get to that part of the tournament, when the big blind is more than a starting stack. Hasn't happened a whole lot for me, but I've heard people say it's pretty wild. I busted the 4th hand of the day 2.
Fold. Fold.
That is an impressive wall of chips.
Fold.
Wow. See what Jean-Simon's gonna do. He's one of the 2 table short stacks. He's down to 7 big blinds as we saw earlier. Yeah, great all in by him. Oh, Patrick here though. Ace in the big blinds. First we have to go through Nicolas. This is a 6.5 big blind all in. Patrick has to be liking this. But like we said, we've seen people make some tighter folds here and there. And it's a lot to say for tight folds when the whole field has a reasonably short stack. Yeah, that's why you see Patrick really deliberating this one. It's half his stack. If he loses this one, he'll be in Jean-Simon's place. And you might think to yourself, you know, it's such a short stack, why is he considering this for so long? But on a table where people play pretty tight with short stacks, on a very short stack yourself, he pretty much loses all the room to play if he loses this hand. So definitely don't fault him for considering this. And again though, if you're gonna fold the a7, you probably shouldn't show it. Because if you see this, if you see the a7, you can just pretty much go for it every single time, knowing somebody's gonna fold an ace there. You don't want to give your opponent that information, you know. Poker's a information game in that regard, so it's kind of people thinking out loud. But here you see we're battling for 37,000 euros, 22k for second place. Lots of money up for grabs, especially because it's a 200 euro event. So yeah, we're seeing some more OP poker, and Felix is also going to join the booth, so that's cool. I'd love for some of those guys to do commentary on my channel, for you guys to get to know them. Sometimes I feel like people also show what they fold out of comfort, you know. They want to hear yes of course, or get shown a better hand, but you just gotta have faith in your strategy. I kind of live with it.
Still your blind.
You can try.
Yeah.
Steal your bind. Patrick is like, I have plenty of those. Gabriel is doing a really nice job of increasing his stack. Of course, getting some nice cards too.
Like that, you cannot steal it. Like that's great. Have you beat?
Yeah, you beat. You have 6-4.
Yeah. It sucks when you're in the small blind that you can't steal. Yeah, but it's risky. It's risky because I like my blinds.
Alright, Chelsea move. King Jack now.
France. 180. Passe.
Oh!
Pocket ace is there. Gabriel. Man, Gabriel is really getting some cards here. Chelsea Moore made it 3 big blinds. Can't imagine he's gonna get away from this. He's in trouble. He's a very short stack in the big blind as well. He doesn't really have to consider this, try to suck somebody more in. Just gonna go all in. Jean-Simon has a third of his stack invested. And we know that he's gonna be in big trouble, but you can't leave those chips out there. Tournament live though.
T'as plus joué des cartes toi alors? T'as plus joué des cartes? Tu montres que si je fold? Oh, oh.
I don't think Gabriel was expecting Jean-Simon to consider this that long, especially after putting in 3 big blinds. He gets rid of it. Wow. And it looks like we're going to be taking a small break. Of course, we'll be back after. Guys, we'll hear from Felix Schneider and Nick from OP Poker. Should be very nice. Saw a lot of crazy action, and we'll be back with you shortly.